Hello friends, happy Friday. Hope everybody is 2025 is off to a good start, I hope. It's good to see everyone. I'll give it a couple minutes here. I posted earlier that I wanted to talk about stock promotion and the OTC, and I'm gonna get to that in a moment. I do have a few Metavesco updates I want to talk about. If you're new to the scene, about 2 months ago, I guess. I'm not clear on the time. Last year just flew by, right? So I'm not clear on the timeline, but roughly a couple months ago, I said, hey, we're going to build this thing in public, all right? And what does that mean? That means as we accomplish things, big or small, we will talk about them to the co-owners. That's what I call shareholders, because you do co-own the company with me, okay? I made a commitment that we would talk about things in a as real time as possible, transparent manner, and one of the methods to do that is for me to do these streams on X a couple times a week as I'm driving home. It's a good time for me to, I got a lot of windshield time here. It's a good time just to put the information out there, share what we're working on, things we're doing, successes, challenges. Okay, and there are a lot of them. If you ever run a startup, which we are, there's always challenges, obstacles. I like to call them opportunities. And I just figured it'd be nice. It'd be a little different. Most of these companies, they put out a quarterly report, and that's what you see. Every 90 days you hear from the company, and there's not usually a lot of commentary about it. But look, we're going to build Metavesco in public and its subsidiaries. And we'll talk about that in real time here. And I'm always on X, and I'm accessible and happy to answer questions when I can. And I think it's important that companies engage with the investing community, particularly in the OTC. And that's kind of what I tweeted earlier. I want to talk about stock promotion. That's kind of what I want to talk about today. So for the record, there is a moratorium on stock promotion for Metavesco, meaning we have not and will not pay for any stock promotion for at least the next 12 months. And there's a reason for that, and I'll come back to it, but I just want to be just clear about that. And there's a reason for it, okay? But first, let's get these updates out of the way. All right, so I had a conversation with Paula Pixie Dezzutti with the Stripe Pig Distillery. We've been going back and forth on the labeling for the limited edition bourbon that we're going to be launching, and I'm sending her what I hope is the final version, and with her approval, maybe if we're lucky, maybe we'll get that out next week. We've been working on this for 2 months now, but we want to do it right, and we want it to be more than just hey, here's some bourbon. We want to add in some almost club-like functionality to it, probably something on-chain. She's got some really great ideas on that front, and I hope next week to have some updates on that and an actual launch date where we'll do a pre-sale for a limited edition drop. This is 8-year, we've already bought the bourbon. It's 8-year aged, sitting in a barrel, and it's almost 9 now, but really, really good quality stuff, and I think it'll be a nice, exciting product for us to test launch that out with her. She's got a really great idea for a platform to help build bourbon brands, and she's very passionate. You should check her out. She's on X. I think it's Paula Pixie. She's huge on Instagram. She's got a lot of followers. She was on the Forbes 50 over 50 last year. Real smart woman, and I'm looking forward to just doing some business with her. I think we could do some exciting things together. She's very active in the community too, down there in Charleston. Okay, so there's that. Boring Brew. We have an AIP submitted to the 8Coin DAO. There's been some questions back and forth, some correspondence with the DAO, and I feel pretty good that we'll have that up for a vote. I think next week. So that's exciting because if we get that approved, it will allow us to open 2 brick and mortar Boring Brew locations that will be partially funded by the DAO through a grant. So that's cool. Just one of the benefits of being part of the Bored Ape community. If you don't know what the Bored Ape is, it's Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's an NFT. Yeah, I know a lot of stock traders don't care for that scene, but it's coming and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you're going to see a lot of businesses this year. I feel, you know, 2 years. If you go back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everybody and their brother was talking about NFTs and Web3, and you know, the hype around that kind of died down, but it's come back, and it's come back because the market has started to mature and there are opportunities in that space, and I think we're going to see a lot there. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully we get the votes that we need to get that grant. So that'd be exciting. Okay, Epic Labor. We are trying to get work comp secured. Our own. So right now we're using a PEO, and which is basically outsourcing the work comp. And we're working on getting our own, bringing that in-house. And so we have an application into NCCI, which is the National Commercial Something Insurance. You know, it's a regulatory body that oversees workers' comp premiums and rates. So we have an application in for the state of Tennessee. I'm hoping to have a policy bound within the next 10 to 14 days. I got an email this morning. They're asking for some information about the business, so that's a good development. I wouldn't call any of these groundbreaking. Okay, I'd say they're you know, early stage, right? All right, so this morning I posted E-Trade. Finally got it sorted with our forward split. The stock is now tradable on E-Trade. I think that's huge. You know, most of the OTC community, I don't know about most, but certainly a large percentage, trades on E-Trade. It's, you know, my opinion, probably the easiest platform to trade on, despite its shortcomings from time to time. But you know, most of your OTC traders are on E-Trade, and I think being on there is important for us. So we got, I called them yesterday, and he kind of went back and forth with them over, you know, just information. And I feel like I kind of felt like they were blowing me off, because yeah, well, we'll get it worked out soon. Okay, well, this morning it seemed like it was. So, you know, hats off to them. I appreciate that. All right, that's really it on that front. We do have a bunch of announcements, hopefully coming together on the Epic Labor front as far as expansion, but that's all, you know, I'm gonna say speculation at this point. Okay, I don't want to hype the hype. Okay, and you know, once we have something to announce there, we'll put that out. All right, so let's talk about stock promotion. And the reason I want to talk about stock promotion, I've been getting a lot of calls lately from promoters after we did the forward split. We get a lot of calls from promoters, you know, wanting to talk about, you know, how they can help bring visibility to the stock, things like that. And, you know, it gave me, I've spent a lot of money on promotion throughout the years. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, I've been in the OTC space for a while, so it's just part of it. You know, in the OTC specifically, if you're not marketing your company or promoting your company, people just don't see it. You know, I remember, you know, my very first public company, I put out these press releases, you know, for like a year. I mean, we just had amazing growth. We put out press releases, no volume, no response, nothing. And the reason was nobody saw it. And that's the catch-22 with the OTC. If you're not already watching the stock, you don't really see the news. Now you've got your day traders, they'll have, you know, a volume scanner, okay, and if, you know, volume hits, they'll see, oh, there's something going on here, but by that point, the volume's already there, right? So, a lot of companies will spend money to promote their stock. You know, if you go back to before the SEC was created, like in 1901, 1902, you could run an ad in the newspaper and just promote, you know, I mean, it's completely legal, just promote your stock, and you can just say whatever. And obviously that, you know, invited a lot of fraud. But stock promotion itself has a pretty bad stigma on the OTC. Now, on the big boards, millions of dollars probably per week get spent on stock promotion. It just doesn't look the same, and it doesn't feel the same, so it's got a different stigma to it. But on the OTC, it's got a nasty stigma. Hell, they've even got a little bullhorn that'll put on your profile if you do a paid promotion. You know, so hey, this stock is under promotion. And so it's got a bad stigma. And I think rightly so. The majority of the time when there's different types of promotions, okay? There's paid promotions, there's company sponsored promotions. So there's different types, but the majority of the time when a stock is being promoted, it's because someone is paying to have it promoted so that someone else can sell shares, or in some cases so the company can do an offering. You know, maybe they've got a large shareholder they want to get out, so they they do a big paid promotion to push the stock, increase the liquidity so a shareholder can get out. There's a lot of reasons why a company might do a paid promotion. Now, unfortunately, and this is probably more opinion based than I don't have the data like to back this statement up, okay? But I think most of the time when there is a stock promotion, it's not in shareholders' best interests. I think it's usually a situation where somebody's trying to sell shares. Maybe they front loaded it. Maybe the officers are selling shares. There could be a whole bunch of nefarious reasons for stock promotion. Now, there are also a lot of reasons for a legitimate promotion, and even a legitimate paid promotion. The company has big prospects, for example, but they need to raise some cash. You can't raise cash in the OTC, or any stock for that matter, if you have no liquidity. Investors are risk averse to small caps, and if you're trying to raise a bunch of money and they look at the stock and it doesn't trade, there's no volume, how am I going to get out? How do I exit? So a company might go spend a bunch of money to do a big promotion so that they can raise capital. And I think on the OTC that's probably most of the times the case, right? Now again, it's got a really nasty stigma to it, okay? But there are, as technology has evolved, now we've got social media, promotion kind of has changed. We went from running newspaper ads, okay, to big email lists. Back in like the early 2000s, you'd have a quarterback, okay? So you give the quarterback $100,000 to promote the stock. The quarterback would line up, 3 or 4 different newsletters, email newsletters. Some of them were, I guess paper still in. And then they'd have a bunch of people paid to post on iHub, of all places. And that's how you did a promotion. Now it's changed a lot with social media. And what you see now, there's still a lot of that probably that goes on quarterbacking, but I think the cool part of it, I think there has been an evolution where someone might be a big investor and they see an opportunity, and like I miss those DD threads, the due diligence threads, where people would put together all this due diligence on a stock, and somebody who was had a keen eye for opportunities might put together a due diligence thread and say, hey, I'm looking at this stock, here's what I found on it. And you see that from time to time, even now still, where it's a legitimate, interesting opportunity, and somebody sees it, they like it, they talk about it, and they put together some due diligence on it, and it gets some eyeballs. And if the company executes well, I think that can work out great for everyone. And I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you're looking at a stock that's being promoted, I think you have to ask yourself who's promoting it and why. Okay. If someone is being paid to promote it, they should disclose it, number one. But you have to ask yourself who would spend money to promote the stock and to what end. Are they spending money to promote it so they can raise capital? Are they spending money to promote it so someone can sell and exit? And that in itself isn't necessarily bad, but it's no secret. I think most companies on the OTC are scams. The majority of them are scams. The majority of them have no prospects. They have no future. They have no assets. They have some, engineered assets sitting on their books, on their balance sheet, some intangible asset that they valued at some, wackadoo number. Something they bought for a piece of paper that's worth whatever on a piece of paper. I think most of those are scams, okay? I think most of the companies on the OTC are scams, but not all of them. And that's part of my frustration, and I'm very passionate about this. There are some very good companies on the OTC. There are very few, and there's less now than there used to be because it's so difficult to get attention on your stock, okay? Unless you're willing to spend a bunch of money on stock promotion. Well, that in itself really hurts the company, in the short term at least, because like you're spending cash to promote your stock to do what? To raise money, presumably. Well, okay, you spend $100,000 promoting your stock. I mean, how much money has to come into the stock for you to raise any money? I mean, at least $500,000. Well, I guarantee you there's zero promoters currently in the OTC that are going to get a 5-to-1 on what it's going to cost them to run a promotion. Okay, I don't want to say zero. There might be a few, but that it's a very low multiple. I can tell you that. Now that's changed over the years, and it fluctuates from time to time. That's just my current take on it. You know, there are a few guys out there that are very good at it, but it's a dog eat dog world when it comes to stock promotion. Okay, so if a company has prospects and they're actually building a business, how do you get people to look at the stock? Well, you have to promote it, okay, or market it, or create investor awareness. There's probably 5 or 6 different definitions of it. If you talk to the SEC or FINRA and you ask them about stock promotion, they don't have an exact definition either. And I don't either, for that matter, okay? So what is stock promotion? I mean, it's promotion of a stock. Whether it's paid or not is probably irrelevant for the definition. What's more important is the outcome. So in the case of Metavesco, which is what matters to me, here's what I submit to you. We will not spend $1, not $1, on stock promotion for at least the next 12 months. I won't say we never will, okay? But I'll say for at least the next 12 months. We won't spend a single dollar on stock promotion. I won't spend a single dollar on any type of paid, you know, there's sometimes they got these shows, you know, like the Money Show and, you know, these different YouTube channels and things like that. Some of them are very good, by the way. Most of them do charge something to get in front of their audience. Okay, there's a few that are prevalent now that charge, you know, $2,000-$3,000. You want to be on their, you know, you want to have a segment for 20 minutes on their show to their 90,000 or whatever subscribers. You got to pay $2-3 grand. Okay, for the next 12 months at least, Metavesco will not spend a penny on any of those things. Not that they're bad, okay, but A, I need to spend those dollars to build our business, which is, I'm a fundamentals first guy, okay? I'm building a legitimate business. We want it to be sustainable. And yeah, it's not as sexy as, oh, we just created an AI agent that can, you know, launch rocket ships. It's not as sexy as that, all right? But what's sexy is cash flow, sales and cash flow. That's sexy to me, all right? When I build a business, I build it to have an actual something that functions, that solves a problem, okay, that contributes in some way. At the end of the day, yes, I want to make money. I want my shareholders to make money. You can't do that if you're spending all your money and all your time just trying to promote the stock. Well, at the same time, if you don't promote the stock doesn't trade. Nobody hears how great your story is. So I'm attempting to probably do something that hasn't been done very often. We're going to self-promote. Always believe in that. And of course, I will never say anything that isn't factual, at least not intentionally. I think the CEO should be the biggest salesman for the company's stock. I'll never give, you know, price targets or any of that stuff because nobody knows. But I will tell you, we're going to build. We're going to build, and I'll share that journey with the shareholders in this fashion. You know, I'm also working on some other channels where we want to push out some content to showcase our products, our services, the different businesses that we own, the businesses we will acquire. So my promotional quote unquote plan is to I have a decent you know, we have a little bit of an advantage. I have a decent social media following. I got 20,000 followers on X, you know, so it's not like we're starting with zero, like, you know, so there's opportunities for us to probably tell our story that are a little easier than some other companies might have it, okay? But, you know, I want to share our story. I want to share it as close to real time as possible and frequently. We want to do it in a transparent manner. And I think it will be, I want to see a revitalization of the OTC. And I think to do that, I think we need some big runners. But I think those runners need to be sustainable businesses. It doesn't do, like, you know, it's not a zero-sum game, but it functions like a zero-sum game. If a stock goes up, you know, 2,000%, and there's like 2 guys who get out and everyone else is stuck holding a bag and the stock goes to zero, does that really help the OTC? No, it helps those 2 guys. Good for them. Hats off to you. But it doesn't help the OTC. It doesn't help the ecosystem that we are stuck in if we want to be an OTC issuer okay, and or at least start there. I don't want to stay there forever, but you know, if you want to be an OTC issuer, that's the sandbox that we are playing in. So I want it to be a healthy, robust sandbox, and I will do my part as an OTC CEO to contribute to that. And I think there are a handful of other CEOs that feel the same way about it. And there's you know, all these guys, all these big traders, not all, a lot of the big traders in the OTC, I talk to them. I don't want to say I'm friends with them, quote unquote, because, you know, that's a, you know, they're not coming to my Thanksgiving dinner or anything. But, you know, I'm in the community. I'm part of the community. And I want to build Metavesco in a way that strengthens the OTC community. And that's how I'm looking at it. And I'm bringing a lot of this ethos from my time that I've spent in crypto. If you look at the crypto projects that have done well, it's always the ones that have strong communities, but they also ship product. They ship useful tools and things that people actually can use, and they generate, you know, some kind of revenue. It's great and everything if the stock goes up and, you know, some people make some money, but at the end of the day, if the company itself doesn't make money, the stock cannot sustain, right? It's just not, the math just won't, it's just not there, okay? So Ian Castle, he's the head of the Microcap Club. He talks a lot. You should check him out on X. He's got a pretty big following, and I tell you, I followed them for years, and they really have a nice mindset about it. You know, they'll take a position in a company that's kind of starting out, finding its way. They'll engage with management when they have a good understanding of what the business they're building. They'll add to their position, and as it goes up, they take some off. If it comes back down, they add back, etc. But you know, I like their mentality, and I want to try to emulate that from the issuer, from the company perspective, okay? So I want to build this thing in public. I want to build it in a way that it keeps the company and builds a really strong company foundation, keeps the company strong. I think there's a lot of opportunities in the labor business. I know it's not sexy, but look, you got Donald Trump coming in. You've got a lot of lower end, I want to call it, I guess, lower end labor. I don't want to say low tier because that's not the right word. Entry level, we'll call it entry level labor that's probably leaving the market due to some of his immigration policies. I think there's going to be a huge vacuum for you know, manual employees, manual labor employees. So I think there's an opportunity there. It's not as sexy as IT staffing or, you know, healthcare. Actually, I think healthcare staffing is going to be huge in the next 10 years, just because of the baby boomers retiring and whatnot. But my specialty is in the labor end, and I think that's a big part of it. Now, that's not the be-all, end-all for Metavesco. It's only one part, and what I'm attempting to build here is a bit of a flywheel. We want to take our labor business, we want to expand that, we want to expand our coffee business, but we want to take those businesses, build them profitably, and have those businesses throwing off cash. We'll take a portion of that cash, we'll reinvest it back into those businesses for continued growth. We'll take a portion of that cash, we'll continue to invest in our Bitcoin operations. If you don't know, we've got 182 Bitcoin miners. We had 200, but we offloaded 18 of them because they were obsolete and no longer profitable. That was a couple quarters ago. We got 182 Bitcoin miners. I think we're running about 22 petahashes, something like that. And I want to continue to invest in that business. I believe in Bitcoin. I think, you know, it's not something I'm concerned about today or tomorrow, but I think 10 years from now, if you've got one Bitcoin, you've got about $1 million, all right? I've been telling my kids, my family for the last 4 years, buy a little bit every week, and then just don't look at it for 10 years. And if they've done that, I don't know if they have, but if they have done that, they've done really well. So we want to mine it cheaply, and when, you know, if the opportunity presents itself to just buy some outright, that would be great also. But we want to create that flywheel, okay? And then of course we want to buy back shares. So the company has approved a buyback. It is on the books. It's, you know, we filed the necessary documentation with the SEC. So anytime we want to go, you know, purchase shares under the 10B, whatever it's called, we can do so. And you know, there's no urgency for us to go in and buy. You know, you're not going to see me out there tweeting, "Oh my God, look at all these shares we bought back. Go buy our stock." That's not going to happen. This is fundamental. It's a fundamental strategic purchase for us if we buy shares. Okay, and everything this company does will be strategic based on our fundamental goals. All right, and I feel like at least this is going to be a little bit of a different flavor for the OTC, and I think that I as a participant of the OTC, I feel like that's important. I think it's something that's missing. There's a lot of stocks, you know, they get this big run and then they end up back at zero and they go nowhere. They build nothing. They make nothing. The only thing they make is shares. It's frustrating as an investor and a trader to see some of this. I mean, I've seen some companies where I buy shares. Oh man, these really guys have, that's such a great, you know, tech they're working on. You know, it's like fintech and it's exciting. And, you know, a year goes by and they, you know, put out an 8K that they sold off their IP and now they're in the cannabis business. I mean, how frustrating is that as an investor? And I'm more of an investor than a trader. Yes, I've made some trades. If you followed me for any length of time, you know that I've had some big ones along the way. But at the heart of it, you know, I'm more of an investor. I want to find an opportunity. I want to get in big, and I want to let the company work for me. All right, I want to let the stock work for me. I can't sit in front of a screen for 10 hours a day trading. So that's what I'm attempting to build here, and you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about what we can build, and I believe that presenting those successes and challenges as they occur, I believe that presenting those to the community in a transparent way, I think that will pay dividends, not in the literal sense, but I believe that will pay off for us down the road in terms of shareholder value. So that's my goals as a CEO, and you know, I don't know that this has been done before. It's certainly not in this way because, you know, the tech just wasn't there. You know, you couldn't have done this 10 years ago. We just didn't have maybe 10 years ago you could. 15 years ago you certainly could not have done this because the technology just wasn't there to be able to share it in this fashion. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, we're a couple months in on what I've termed as just building this in public. I mean, I didn't come up with the words building in public, but I think I'm the first to apply it to a public company, where, you know, you're not getting a report every 90 days. You're getting it, you know, every few days, right? You know, now I won't get on here every day and just, you know, chatter for nothing and have nothing to talk about. I'll only, you know, come on when I have things to talk. Hey, you can go to metavesco.com. There's a link to the YouTube channel we set up where I'm uploading these, and you can look at the first 5 that I did when I first started. And that's what I want to do. And you know, I'm open to suggestions if anyone feels like there's a more effective way to disseminate the information. Certainly open to suggestions, and you know, let's build this thing together. That's how I'm looking at it. And you know, I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses. I recognize there will be doubters along the way, and that's okay. I think having doubters and haters to a degree is important. I think it's an important part of the process, you know, of price discovery. Okay, if there's someone who has doubts, are they legitimate? Well, maybe they have something that's worth looking at. Okay, and so I think that's important. You know, I got a lot of haters. You know, somebody once said, if you don't have any haters, you're doing it wrong. I got plenty of those, so you know, there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really, I guess. Anyway, I just want to recap in regards to stock promotion. Metavesco will not engage in paid stock promotion in cash or shares or promises for at least the next 12 months. Probably never, if I'm being honest. I'm not a fan of it. There was a time where I was, because it was just necessary, and I do think it's necessary now. I'm just opting out of it, okay? I do think it's necessary. Okay, at a minimum, stock promotion is necessary in the definition of it, in the concept of it. And probably for a lot of companies, they probably do have to pay. And you know what? A year from now, I may look back and say, damn, we should just pay for some stock promotion. You know, that might happen also. I'd rather just invest that money into our business, and you know, and that's just what we're going to do. So I'm excited. It's 3:30. This was much shorter than most of my streams. I usually run about an hour, but I don't have anything else to talk about. So if you have questions or comments, you know, shoot me a DM, hop in the thread, you know, ask me something. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Also, Do keep in mind, Metavesco is a publicly traded company, traded under ticker MVCO. You can view OTCmarkets.com, punch in the ticker, and see all of the risk factors, legal disclosures, all that fun stuff. And have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for stopping by.